Hey there, and welcome back to the history of comics. But today we're not going to be talking about anything historical. Instead, I'm going to be showing you the latest Asterix book. To the history of comics. But today we're not going to be talking about anything. Sorry, I left my own window on. So there are now three books in the Asterix series that have been made by the new creative team of Jean-Yves Ferry and Didier Conrad. They replaced Alberto Derzo. Derzo was basically just coming up with the plots and leaving all the art to his studio. So we would, and you could tell because there was a certain decline in the storytelling, and the ideas were just not flowing. The last book that Uderzo did, it was just the most terrible thing. It was like when the Great Gazoo was introduced in the Flintstones, and instead of the usual fights between the Gauls and the Romans, and poking fun at regional stereotypes or at local politics, that was the hallmark of the Asterix series. We got invaders from outer space making fun of manga and superheroes, and that was just not what the Asterix book was about. So this is the third one with the new team. This is the Portuguese edition. I think it was published in English as the Asterix and the Great Chariot Race. I think it's something like that. And I didn't buy this. Hello, Samuel. How are you doing? So as I was saying, I didn't buy this. Instead, every month we have a dinner party where a bunch of comic book fans get together, and in that dinner party, everybody who has some old books that they want to get rid of, we put them up. We give them to the organization, and they sell some raffles. And if you're lucky, you go home with a new book with a new comic book, and you don't have to spend more than €1.50 or €3. That's good because this one is about 13 euros new. So I got this one. It was given by my friend Luis Graça, who was with me in the Amadora Comics Festival when we spent the late afternoon buying some beers for Dennis Kitchen. So the Great Chariot Race is actually interesting for me because it's a book about automobile racing before the invention of automobiles, and there are a few in jokes for guys who like racing. For example, the map is sort of a version of the Carrera Panamericana, which was held in Mexico in the early 1950s. But also here in Italy, there was motor racing in this part, which was the Mille Miglia, where before immigrating to the United States, Mario Andretti became inspired to become a racing driver. You don't see Sicily here, but Sicily had another race, which was the Targa Florio, where all the big manufacturers did a road race to showcase their new products, and that went on from 1906 to 1973. But we're back to an adventure where Asterix and Obelix leave the village. So Obelix decided to buy a, a sports carriage to take part in the race, and we're back also to have all the fun names. One of the things about the Asterix books, it doesn't matter which language it's in. There's a lot of puns to the names of all the characters involved. For example, the senator that is organizing the race, his name in Portuguese was translated to Bifidus Activus, uh, which you'll be familiar with if you like expensive yogurts. There's also here my ancestors, the Lusitanians. Comic Crack is in the house. Hi, Terence. How you doing? I'm reviewing the latest Asterix book. So these here are the Lusitanians, my ancestors. Uh, I looked up the names in other languages. I didn't understand the joke in French, but I think the way they were translated in English is acceptable. It's a good stereotype to poke fun at. You'll also find a few others. Let's see now. Supposedly these are the Williams sisters, Serena and Venus. They're here as Kushite princesses. Lots of other in jokes. The Hell's Angels. I'm not sure if you can see the skull symbol in their chariot. And a few other in jokes. An innkeeper where they stop is Luciano Pavarotti. In fact, here he is waking everybody up by singing. Here's a little detail that was not normal a few years ago. The coloring right here is a lot better thanks to new printing techniques, and I'm not sure if how much these computer separations, but the coloring has improved even with the new creative team. Uh, here's the Mona Lisa watching the race. No, no, Terence. This is a brand new story. This is the latest Asterix book. It's the third one that's done by the new creative team that was handpicked by the last surviving original creator. The Alberto Derzo had been going down in quality with his books, and basically after he had one entire book where the Gauls, instead of fighting Romans, they had to deal with social political commentary about manga and comics, and it was basically an episode with the Great Gazoo. Man, the comics is in the house. Hello. Another thing that I like in this book, the main Roman racer, Coronavirus, after Unmasked, is actually the old Formula One champion, Alain Prost. He was from France. He was Formula One champion 4 times. And it's good to see that they're using this type of facial features in the characters. This was always a hallmark of the series, to use real people as the basis for the people that they're making fun of. A great way to make commentary on what's going on right now. But even if you're reading this 20 years later and you can't spot the joke, uh, it shows that like René Goscinny did, the new writer Ferry is also interested in doing the same aspects. Another one, pizzas before the invention of pizza, and Julius Caesar losing his cool, which is also an hallmark. And it ends with the typical banquet. So if you're a fan of Asterix and you stop reading the book because the quality had been going down ever since Goscinny died, and you could tell by the fourth or fifth book that was written and drawn by Uderzo that he was running out of ideas. The the last three with the new creative team of Ferry and Conrad, it, they're going back to basics, back to the jokes, and I hear that it doesn't matter which language it's being done in. The translators are always careful to be maintain the humor as much as possible. And now that the stories have quality again, they're much more inspired to do so. It it's it's good to have Asterix back because a lot of the traditional humor series in French and Belgian comics, including Spirou, um, but also the Linclair comics like Blake and Mortimer, they've had new creative teams. Asterix was one that where they were resisting that, but in the last few years they've been improving, and I think we're going to have some brand new, good quality, brand new Asterix stories in the years to come. Also, if you're watching this in North America, you should know that if you're going to read one French series, it has to be Asterix. This is probably the funniest comic book in the history of comics. And once more, it's back in good hands. So let's see who we have in the house. Okay, I actually only wanted to do this short review, but if anybody wants, we can stay and talk for a little more. If you have any questions or something, I I, I enjoy doing those interviews that I did in the last couple of months, and I'd like to do a few more this year, but probably try and do something in a something online. Use the Hangout format, or maybe invite some people where we can talk, even if they're not usually well known, where we can talk about anything related to comics. I'm in a few Facebook groups where I saw some people that would be interesting to have a conversation with, and I'll probably ask them see if they're available for it. Uh, and, that's something that I'd also want to do more often, and even to have more conversations, not just being here in the introducing these comics. Yeah, Samuel, I think that this latest book has already been published in the United States, so you should be able to find it, if not in comic book stores, at least in bookstores. It should be available. But I think the French books are a bit more expensive than than they are here in Europe, with the big format and all. And I'm also going to see if I can do some searching around the internet. I posted a video with my top 10 wish list, and I can't go. Obviously, I can't go around looking for old comics in English because they're not available here. So I'll probably have to do some online digging, see if I can get a package deal or on something, because the shipping costs. I've already looked at some eBay listings, and the shipping costs are 3 or 4 times more expensive than the books that I went to buy. And another thing that I should try to do, uh, write some things and record them, and I have an editing program installed here, and I think I could just do a regular podcast thingy, uh, just talk about a specific theme, as long as I have all the writing done beforehand, and I splice some images together, and that way I could go back to some more historical comics. Okay, so okay, you guys got any questions? You want to talk about something? Um, I don't. I might go back to buying comics this year. Last year I had a job change and I had no job security, so I kind of took a break from buying comics regularly. But I think this year I'm gonna go back to hitting the previous catalog and getting some trade paperbacks. See what's being reprinted, especially if I can find some things from the 80s and 90s. Um, I, I made a comment on La Raza's latest video that she got a bundle of comics, including several issues of Mystery and one issue of Scout. And Eclipse Comics is the publisher from the 1980s, from the big independent publishers that have not been reprinted in any significant manner. I have a Scout trade that had no follow-ups, and a digest size reprint of the Liberty Project miniseries. But apart from that, uh, I think only the Miracle Man material has been reprinted by Marvel, of course, but none of the Eclipse series are available in any sort of collected format. Which, compared to what happened to First Comics, is kind of strange. A lot of material from First Comics has been reprinted. Uh, Nexus by Dark Horse. The the successor company to First Comics, which merged with merged with Devil's Due Publishing. They reprinted John Sable Freelance, and what was it? What was the other series that I have, which is Grimjack. They reprinted Grimjack. Although there's one thing that I'd love to see reprinted, which is the Badger. Badger Goes Berserk was published here in Portuguese. The Brazilian edition was imported to Portugal. A friend of mine has the collected edition, and I'd like to see the whole of the series get reprinted. Apart from that, from Marvel and DC, that depends on what's going to get published. I already have a lot of the stuff from the 70s that was published in a complete format, like Deathlock the Demolisher and Machine Man by Kirby and Ditko. I have a collection for Skull the Slayer, which is not the best thing I've ever read. I think a lot of material from the Avengers and Defenders in the X-Men, it was published in an essential format, and so that's a good affordable way to get those comics. And but from DC, I really don't know. One of the comics that I put on my wish list was a from an anthology title, which serves as a precursor to the one-shot story that serves as a precursor to the Star Hunters series, which is a science fiction series done by Bob Layton, Dave Michelini, and Don Newton. Don Newton? Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, and I'm interested in getting that, but it's not something that I see DC reprinting anytime soon. Another series that I'd love to see reprinted is the Barren Earth, which was a series of backups that were published in a Warlord from issue 80 something to 100 something. Then had a mini series, but I don't see that getting reprinted anytime soon. Especially because they haven't appeared in any way, shape, or form since Crisis. It's one of those alternate universes that DC forgot about because it had no connection to the main continuity. Okay, so I guess that's it for today. Hopefully you'll give Asterix a shot. I talked a little bit about what stuff I'd like to see reprinted. I know that many people who talk about old comics, they prefer the original editions. They prefer to hunt down the original material and care for it. But it's not the best alternatives if you want to read something in one sitting. So that's something that I want to see people talk about. What are the things that you haven't read when you were young that you'd like to read now, or the stuff that you found out about that existed before you started reading or before you were born that you'd like to have in any way, preferably in an affordable format. Which are the series that you'd like to have? I'm putting that question out there. If you want to put it in the comment section, we can have a discussion about the stuff that you'd like to see reprinted. So thank you very much for staying with me, Samuel Trejo, Comic Crack, and Mind the Comics. And I'll see you soon. Bye bye.